Spain's football authorities have approved a proposal that could reshape La Liga. The RFEF has greenlit a request to stage Villarreal versus Barcelona at Miami's Hard Rock Stadium on December 20, pending UEFA and FIFA approval. If authorized, it would be the first official La Liga match played outside Spain, a landmark in the league's global expansion that promises large financial rewards and fierce controversy. Players' representatives and club captains say they were not properly consulted. Fans fear a loss of tradition. The legal, sporting and political fallout starts now. Expect protests, legal challenges and an international debate over fairness. Soon. This proposal did not arrive out of nowhere. It is the latest push in a long-running strategy to turn La Liga from a domestic competition into a global brand. For years, La Liga executives have sought ways to export regular season drama to new audiences, and Monday's decision by the RFEF board to pass the Miami request on to UEFA and then to FIFA for final sign-off represents the formal beginning of what could be the most disruptive experiment in Spanish football in decades. The Federation's move makes clear that the mechanics of sport are now inseparable from questions of commerce and diplomacy. Practically speaking, the match is penciled in for December 20 at Miami's Hard Rock Stadium, the venue now familiar to many because it is home to Inter Miami and will host multiple matches during the 2026 World Cup. If UEFA and FIFA give the green light, both of which retain the authority to block a domestic league fixture being played on foreign soil, this fixture will become the first official La Liga match contested outside Spanish territory, rewriting a line in the rulebook even as stakeholders scramble to interpret the consequences. Money is the blunt instrument driving enthusiasm for the idea. Reports citing Racon suggest Barcelona would receive roughly euros 5-6 million for participating, with Villarreal set to receive a slightly higher payment to offset lost home revenue. That figure is headline-grabbing, and not only because it represents a cash injection for clubs coping with wage bills and transfer ambitions. It also reframes the fixture as a commercial event as much as a sporting contest, raising legitimate questions about competitive balance, home advantage, and whom the league ultimately serves. Opposition is already loud. The players' union and some club captains say they were not consulted and demand transparency over how the match was chosen and what protections will exist for player welfare, arbitration, travel arrangements, and compensation. This is not merely a matter of etiquette. Collective bargaining agreements and the rules that govern competitions often require consultation for initiatives that materially change players' working conditions, and that legal texture could become a fault line if a dispute goes to arbitration or court. There is also precedent worth remembering. Previous La Liga attempts to stage regular season games abroad, including the much-discussed Girona-Barcelona proposal back in 2018, were eventually blocked after legal and regulatory pushback. That history makes clear approvals are not a mere formality, and that UEFA and FIFA will weigh sporting principles alongside commercial promises. Beyond lawyers and accountants, fans feel an emotional stake. Many supporters see a league as rooted in towns and neighborhoods, with home fixtures serving as rituals that bind communities. Moving a home game to Florida risks alienating those local constituencies and ignites a broader debate about whether elite football is becoming a travelling spectacle with diminished ties to its own cities. The match is not only a contest between two clubs, but a flashpoint in a larger story about identity, access, and who benefits when modern football's calendar is rewritten. Logistics will also test the players and staff. Long-haul travel mid-season, time zone adjustments, bespoke security and medical arrangements, and the potential disruption to the integrity of competition if one side is perceived to be advantaged or disadvantaged by the relocation. Those are practical, solvable problems, but solving them convincingly will require detail and genuine consultation, which critics say has so far been lacking. What happens next is a tightly governed process. The RFEF has formally submitted the request to UEFA, which will examine the proposal in the context of competition rules and calendar integrity. Following any UEFA assessment, FIFA would issue the final authorization given the cross-border nature of the plan. Both bodies have precedent for cautious, principle-led decisions in cases where sporting fairness is at stake. If approvals arrive, expect a political and cultural aftershock. Local politicians, fan groups and national federations may enter the conversation, arguing over taxation, broadcasting rights and the long-term shape of domestic competition. If approvals are denied, the move will still have mattered. The debate it has provoked will shape how La Liga presents itself to international markets in the years ahead. No single match will decide the future of Spanish football, but this proposal crystallizes a set of tensions that will not be easily settled. Commercial ambition versus sporting tradition, global reach versus local roots, short-term revenue versus long-term legitimacy. As the clock ticks toward December, the sports guardians will be forced to choose whether to test the limits of football's governing framework and whether the fans who built the league will be along for the ride.